Hi everyone, good morning or good evening. Today's practice is a cooler practice, and I'm keeping it in theme and in season with the fact that it was the summer solstice 2 days ago, and it's kind of the midst and the heat of the summer here in England, and this week temperatures are going to reach about 30 degrees, so it feels really appropriate to do a practice that isn't as heating and doesn't build up as much of a sweat, and that allows you still to move your body and feel really good about yourself and feel like you've done a dedicated physical practice, but without the intensity that sometimes we get in the summertime anyway. So I hope you will enjoy this practice and use it at any time that you feel like you need to do some more grounded movement that really uses the floor, uses the breath, and that doesn't create lots and lots of heat in the body, but that still works the entire body in terms of mobility and strength and awareness. So come down to your mat. Feel free to pause the video and have some tea or some water nearby. You will have time to sip on it. So that is encouraged. And then come down to a grounded seat, or just a cross-legged seat with whichever foot in front, whichever one is more comfortable for you. And to start, I want you to close your eyes. And your palms can be facing up towards the sky, or they can be resting gently on your knees. Whichever one feels more grounding and more comfortable for you today. There's no right or wrong position. And just start to take some deep inhales through your nose, lifting your chest, filling your lungs up with air, and then exhaling out the mouth. Inhaling through your nose, filling up the lungs with fresh air, and exhaling out the mouth. 3 more breaths with your eyes closed. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, and last time, inhale and exhale. I want you to gently place your fingertips either side of you, and then inhale, reach up, fingertips to kiss overhead, and just lift the gaze to the fingertips. And as you radiate the fingers back down, your right fingertips will come in front. They'll come to the left knee, and your left fingertips are going to reach out behind you. And you're just going to come into a gentle side body stretch. And even with these simple poses, as you take an inhale, really think about using your core to twist you around deeper into that stretch, and using your arm just as a support. And that way you're already engaging the core and the stomach muscles, and already warming up the body and strengthening the body and bringing awareness into the body. And focus on your breath, and allow your inhale to lengthen your spine, and your exhale to deepen the twist a little bit more. Final inhale and exhale, shifting back to center. Inhale, fingertips lift up, Gaze looks up to the fingers. And this time as you exhale, left fingertips come to right knee and the right hand comes behind. So fingertips are reaching out a little bit, but not so that you lose the straightness in your spine, just so that you create a nice twist in the torso. And this is really where the twist is coming from in this posture. And if you're not sure if you're using your core or if you're just using your arm to push you round, just lift your fingertips up for a moment and see if your body shifts. If your body shifts a lot, then you know maybe you were using your hand a little bit too much. And you can work at trying to twist, just using the body, and then place the arm there just for a little bit more support. Breathing in, sitting up straight in the spine. Exhale, maybe twist a little bit further. Maybe taking your gaze back. Final inhale. And exhale, release. Come back to the center. From here, you're going to inhale. Right hand is going to lift up and over, and we're going to walk the left fingertips out a little bit and come over into a side body stretch. Now don't allow yourself to collapse, but really think about lifting up and over into the side stretch, really creating an opening in your side body all the way up and over through your arm, and maybe lowering your left elbow down if that feels comfortable. Taking your gaze towards your elbow. Again, always engaging my core a little bit. And again, maybe you're just reaching over towards your fingertips, the elbow lifted. Take one more deep inhale. Exhale, left arm lifts. Inhale, breathing, gaze looks up towards the fingertips, and as you exhale this time, leaning over to the right side, right fingertips walk out, and left arm reaches up and over. So really think about straightening your spine, opening your chest, and then reaching up and over. And again, lowering the left elbow down if that feels comfortable. Maybe taking the gaze up towards the left elbow this time, or keeping it out in front, or even taking it across to the right arm. Whatever feels comfortable in your neck and supports the rest of this position. Really reaching up and over, lengthening through the spine, so that there's a really nice long stretch all the way along the left side of your body and out through the fingertips. One more deep inhale. Exhale, lifting back up, right fingertips lift. And then we're going to start to move just side to side, so reaching over, exhale back up, inhale, exhale over, inhale up, exhale over, inhale up, exhale reach over, inhale up, exhale reach up and over, inhale reach up, exhale up and over. Think about even now using your core as you lift back up to the center, and then reaching, stretching all the way up and over, and then engaging your core as you squeeze yourself back up to center, and exhaling over to the right. Engage the core and relax and stretch up and over. Engage the core and release and stretch up. From here, this time, I want you to start to roll forward. Fingertips sweep all the way forward, and then we come over into the other side. Stretch up so we're not collapsed as you stretch over to the side. And then exhale, sweep the arms forward and come over to the right side. So as we come over, lift back up a little bit more so we have a nice straight spine, and then come over into the stretch. Exhale. Inhale, stretch. Exhale. Inhale, stretch. Exhale. So think about really curving over in the spine as you come forward, and then straightening it up as you reach over. Inhale. Exhale, curving in the spine. Inhale, reaching up and over. Exhale, curving in the spine. Inhale, reach. Exhale, curving in the spine. Inhale, reach. Exhale, curve. Last time. Inhale, stretch. Exhale, over to the other side. Inhale, stretch. Exhale, bringing it back to center. And then wherever you find yourself in center, taking a deep inhale and then allowing the head to rest forward so that we're working a little bit into a hip stretch. So you might feel like you can come onto your elbows here. You might feel like you can stretch your fingertips out in front a little bit more. You might even feel that you're able to place the head on the floor. And just working here for as long as feels comfortable, making sure you're not rolling all the way forward so that your hips are lifted, making sure your sit bones are in contact with the ground, and that it's more just your torso that's moving up and over. If you need to reset, inhale, and then reach over, using your core to pull yourself forward but keep your hips grounded to the ground at the same time. And again, maybe release the head. And just holding it here in whatever position is comfortable. And there's absolutely no expectation that your head will be on the ground or that your head will reach the ground. And just breathe in here. One more inhale. Exhale, bring the fingertips back, and then you're just going to switch the foot. So whichever one wasn't in front, you're now going to bring forward. Inhale. And then come forward into the same stretch. Just bringing it into the other side and the other hip. Same grounded down into your hips again. And stretching forward. And again. You may be up here on your elbows. You may be up on your fingertips like this. Just getting a gentle stretch in the hips. So where we place our arms and our head and our chest in relation to the floor will just be different for everyone, depending on how open you are in your hips. And hips take a long time to open up and release. So just know that it will come, and it will be really enjoyable as you start to gain more space in the hips, as they start to open up more and support these movements. Inhale, exhale, bring it back. I'm going to roll back onto your bum a little bit so that you can bring your soles of your feet to the ground, and then we're going to shift over and move into tabletop position. Okay, And from here, we're going to work into some cat-cows. So this is one of my favourite grounding positions to work through. So inhaling and dropping the belly down. So the tailbone, instead of tucking, we release. We allow the bum to kind of go up to the ceiling, and as we do that, the mid-back and the belly drop down towards the floor, and the chest then has this nice opening. We can lift our chin a little bit, and we feel a really nice stretch in the lower back. And then as we exhale, we push away from the ground, start to tuck the tailbone under and curve through the spine. Exhale, start to lift the tailbone, lower back, then mid back and upper back. All move towards the ground and the chest opens. So rolling through each vertebrae. Exhale, tailbone, lower back, mid back, upper back. Rolling through the spine. Inhale. Tucking the pelvis, opening the chest. Exhale, really using its movement, moving slowly through the whole spine, pushing away from the ground, allowing the head to drop down and release. And then inhale, fill up with breath as the tailbone tucks and you drop the pelvis, the belly, open the chest. And just moving through 5 more of these in your own time. So inhaling, dropping the belly down, opening the chest. And exhaling, tucking the tailbone, rolling through the spine. Allowing the neck and the head to hang loose. And just moving in your own time here. Last time, all together. Inhale, drop the belly down. Or just move through your last cat-cow. And then coming back to your neutral spine. From here, we're going to work through some chaturangas, low to the ground, so knees, chest, chin. And if you've done my last video, you'll already be familiar with these. So I like to, for my regular kind of community, I like to always repeat some of the same movements so that they become more familiar. And this one I'm actually starting to really get into to myself. So I'm feeling good about using it 2 weeks in a row. So we'll inhale and we'll lift up to a plank. And believe me, this is the only plank pose we'll be doing this whole practice. And as you exhale, you're going to release your knees down. Start to tuck your tailbone under, just as you did in that cat-cow. And also bend at the elbows, start to lower your body down. And your chest and your chin should come into contact with the mat before anything else. So usually with a neutral spine, we would come down, and almost all of our body would come into contact with the ground at the same time. But with knees, chest, chin, instead of doing that, you lower your knees. As soon as your knees come into contact, start to shift your tailbone up, bending forward, knees, chest, chin. And then as you inhale, you'll push up and away, which requires a lot of strength. Straighten the legs out behind you, and then exhale, push the hips back, coming into child's pose. Okay, from here we'll inhale, roll forward, untuck the toes, coming up to plank, drop the knees down on an exhale. Tuck the tailbone, knees, chest, chin. Inhale, moving through to up dog. And exhale, pushing all the way back into child's pose. Okay, so we'll work through 5 of those. Nice and low to the ground, nice and slow. Not easy, but nice and mindful at the very least. Okay? So, when you're ready, we're going to take a deep inhale and come up into our plank all together. And on your next inhale, lower the knees, tuck the tailbone, bend the elbows, chest and chin to the floor. Inhale, push up and away, straighten the legs, and then exhale, push back into child's pose. Inhale, start to shift forward, tuck the toes, come into plank. Exhale, lower the knees, lower the chest, lower the chin, tuck the tailbone. Inhale, push up, straight arms if you can into upward dog. And then push back on an exhale into child's pose. Inhale, rolling forward, tucking the toes, plank. Exhale, knees, tuck the tailbone, chest, chin. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, child's pose. Twice more. Inhale, plank. Exhale, knees, tuck the tailbone, chest, chin. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, child's pose. Last time. You can do it, guys. Plank. Exhale, knees, tuck the tailbone, chest, chin. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, push back. Child's pose, and allow your fingertips to come all the way back and your arms to rest either side of you, ear to the ground, and just breathe here for a moment in child's pose. Maybe grab a sip of water if you need to. Okay. From here, you're going to come onto one hip and swivel the legs out in front of you. So we're in a forward fold position. Okay. And from here, we're going to work onto our backs. Okay. So slowly, I want you to roll back, thinking about each vertebrae touching the mat one by one at a time. Okay. So spine nice and straight. Take a deep inhale, and then using the core, try and lower yourself down really slowly. Lower back, touching the ground floor, touching the floor first, then mid back, upper back, shoulders, and the head being the final thing. From here, you're going to bring your knees closer so that the soles of your feet are in contact with the ground beneath you, or the mat, or the carpet, wherever it is that you have the honour of practicing on today. From here, fingertips are going to link and come behind the neck, really behind the lower head, and sort of right, your thumbs are right at the tip of your head. Just where you kind of imagine the little lower curve of your skull to be. That's where your thumbs are. And then your fingers are interlinked, supporting your head and your neck. But your arms, you want your elbows to be out. So you've also got this really nice opening in your shoulders and your chest. Okay? From here, we're going to inhale. Exhale, we're going to slowly start to lift. And as you lift, I want you to think about the lower back really flat, in contact with the ground. So as you exhale, you're going to squeeze your core in, almost moving your tailbone so that the back of your mat goes from having a little bit of space to being really nice flush against the floor underneath you. So inhale, and as you exhale, you're going to lift up, gaze out just past your knees. Inhale, lower down. Exhale, lift up. Going 8 more times. Exhale, lift up. Inhale, lower down. Exhale, lift up. Inhale, lower down. Keeping the elbows out. Nice opening in the chest. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, lower down. Exhale, squeeze and lift. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Twice more. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. And just take a moment here to rest. Whew. And breathe. And then from here, you're going to lift one foot off of the mat and then the other, so that your lower legs are parallel to the floor beneath you. You have this nice right angle in the legs. And you want the back again to be nice and flush, so the lower back is flush with the mat. There's no space between the spine and the mat, or at least as little space as possible. We're going to do that same exercise again, but now with the knees lifted, trying to keep the knees nice and still as we lift up. So we'll inhale all together. Exhale, head and chest lift. Inhale, lower. Exhale, 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 lift. Halfway. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift. Once more. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift. Squeeze at the top. And inhale, release. Allow the soles of the feet to touch the earth for a moment. Allow the back to come away from the mat a little bit and just release the tension in the belly. Maybe wiggle the hips a little bit. And then last time, this time, legs are going to be up straight to the ceiling. Now, if this isn't available to you, you can always keep them in this right angle position, or you can keep your feet flat on the ground and just work with the soles of the feet in contact with the ground beneath you. Okay. If you want to challenge yourself a little bit, and this doesn't create any discomfort, and you're going to have your legs straight up, and again work at just moving a little bit so that lower back is really in contact with the mat, nice and flat. From here, we'll inhale all together. Exhale. imagine there's a little orange between your chest and your chin. So you're not crunching your chin in, but you're creating this nice space and opening the whole time. Inhale, exhale, lift. Inhale, lower, exhale, lift. Inhale, lower, exhale, lift. Inhale, lower, exhale, lift. 5 more. Inhale, lower, exhale, lift. Try and keep the legs nice and still. Inhale, exhale, lift. Inhale, exhale, lift. Inhale, exhale, lift. Inhale, exhale, lift. 1 more. Inhale, exhale, lift. Hold it here. And then inhale, release. And allow the feet to come down to the earth. From here, maybe you massage your abdominals a little bit. That feels good. Maybe you take a full body stretch. So reaching up overhead with the fingertips. Lengthening the feet away. Just stretching through the whole body to release any tightness in the abdominals. From here, you're going to bring the feet back, so soles come in contact with the ground again, and just check so that your fingertips can just touch your heels. And you want to make sure your legs and your knees are in line with your hips. You don't want them out too wide, you also don't want them right close together, but so there's a little space in between and they're in line with your hips. From here, we're going to work into some bridge lifts. So in yoga we have our bridge pose, which we often hold, but today, before we get into our bridge pose, we're just going to work through mobilizing the spine a little bit and working through some bridge lifts, okay? So, you're going to inhale to begin, as always. And as you exhale, using the palms to press into the mat, you're going to start to lift the tailbone, so right at the bottom of your spine, up off the ground, lifting your hips, then the mid-back, and then the upper back in turn will slowly start to lift up until the only thing still in contact with the mat is the very top of your shoulders. Okay? And then from here you'll take an inhale and then exhale, reverse it. So now working from the top of the spine. So the upper back, then the mid back, then the lower back, and then the tailbone and the bum releases down. Okay, and we're going to do that 10 times through. So inhale, exhale, ground down, lower back, mid back, upper back. Really squeeze your glutes and your thighs at the top. Lift your chest away from your chin away from your chest. Inhale, and then exhale, upper back, mid back, lower back, and tailbone. Inhale at the bottom, exhale, lift the hips, lower back, mid back, upper back, squeeze at the top, inhale, exhale, lower down. Inhale at the bottom, exhale, squeeze the thighs and the bum, rolling up through the spine, all the way to the top of the spine and the shoulders. Squeeze at the top, squeeze your glutes and your thighs. And exhale, releasing down, top of the spine, mid-spine, lower back, tailbone. Inhale, exhale, hips rise, lower back, mid-back, upper back. Hold it at the top, squeeze your glutes, And then exhale, release slowly, upper back, mid back, lower back, and tailbone. Halfway through. Inhale, exhale, lifting up through the spine. Gently and mindfully, squeeze at the top, inhale, exhale, rolling down through the spine, one vertebrae at a time. Inhale, exhale, rising back up, hips lift. All the way through the spine, squeezing at the top, making sure there's space between your chin and your chest. And then exhaling, releasing, one vertebrae at a time. Finishing with your lower back, your tailbone, and the buttocks. Inhale at the bottom. Exhale, slowly lift the hips, lower back, mid back, upper back. Squeeze at the top. Exhale, release, top of the spine down, all the way through each vertebrae. Inhale at the bottom. Exhale, rolling all the way back up through the spine. Inhale at the top, squeeze your thighs, push your hips up towards the sky. And then exhale, release it down, slowly working through the entire spine. Twice more. Inhale, exhale, lift, squeeze at the top. Exhale, roll it back down. Really feel each vertebrae be massaged as you lower it down towards the earth. Inhale, last time. Exhale, lift the hips, the lower back, mid back, upper back. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And gently release. Last time, working through each vertebrae. Whew. And then wiggling your hips out a little bit. Nice. From here, maybe shift forward a little bit on your mat. Okay. From here, we're going to work back into plow pose and then forward fold. So I'll show you what we're going to do here, and maybe for the first one, you just want to take a look at what I'm doing, and then you can join in afterwards, okay? So from here, we'll inhale, lift the legs up, exhale, pushing down into the ground again with our palms. We'll start to lift our hips, and our legs are going to shift overhead so that our feet our toes come into contact with the ground behind us, up above our head. We'll take an inhale here. As we exhale, same thing again, rolling gently through the spine. So top of the spine, mid-spine, using the core so that we don't rush it. And then legs will come all the way forward, and just after halfway, we're going to use the strength of the core to lift our body up, coming into boat pose, holding it here in boat pose for 2 seconds, and then lowering the legs down so that the body comes up, and from there you're going to come forward into your forward fold. Okay? And with your forward fold, I want you to think about moving up and over. So it might be that your hands are on your shins, and that's where you're coming to today. You can just release the head down here. Or maybe you can reach out towards the toes, and with the index and the mid finger, grab hold of the 2 big toes so that you're pulling your feet towards you, and then coming forward and over from there. Okay? So whatever is more comfortable. And then we'll inhale and we'll roll back. So starting in this position, we're going to move through that little flow 5 times, okay? So going back into plow pose, taking an inhale there, exhaling, coming all the way over, holding in boat pose, and then releasing forward into our forward fold. Okay? So inhale here, Palms are going to come to the ground. We're going to roll all the way back. Inhale. Exhale, lift the legs up. Inhale here. And then exhale, start to kick them back up. We've got to shimmy forward. Over the head. Coming into plow pose. Taking an inhale here. And then exhale, rolling down through the spine. Really using the core so that we don't slam the legs down on the ground. And then shifting the legs all the way forward. Lifting up, coming into boat pose, really using your core to try and hold it here for one breath. And then lowering the legs down slowly and shifting forward into that forward fold. Okay? Inhale, rising up. Exhale, roll down. Legs come up overhead into plow pose. Take an inhale here. And exhale, roll down through the spine. Start to lift up. Come into bow pose. Inhale here. And then exhale, release down. And come forward, up and over into your forward fold. Bending at the knees if you need to. Inhale, start to lower back down. Exhale, legs come up and over into plow pose. Inhale here. Exhale, roll gently down the spine. Mid back, lower back, tailbone. And then as the legs come past the halfway point, we lift up to boat pose. Inhale here. Exhale, release the legs down and come up and over back into your forward fold. Inhale, rolling up, rolling back down. Exhale, legs shift up and over into plank. Inhale here and exhale, rolling down through the spine, nice and gently. And squeezing our core to lift us up into our boat pose. And then exhaling, coming all the way forward into our forward fold. From here, inhale, exhale, working down to the ground, rolling through the spine, lifting the legs, exhaling, legs come up and over into plow. Inhale here, exhale, rolling gently through the spine, using the palms to help you move slowly, 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 and then squeezing, engaging the core, boat pose, nice. Exhale, move forward, forward fold. I'm going to do that one more time. So inhale, rolling back, gently lift the legs. Exhale, legs up and over into plow. Inhale here. Exhale, roll down in the spine. Lower back, then tailbone engaging with the floor. Legs shift forward, core engages, we lift up to boat pose. We're going to hold it here for 5, 4, 3, you can do it, 2, 1, lower the legs down, come all the way up and over into your final forward fold. And we're just going to rest here for a moment in our forward fold. So find a little bit of comfort here. And if it's more comfortable to bend the knees and have a little bend in the knees, place your arms wherever's comfortable for you, and then think about releasing the spine and the neck and the head over. Okay, for me today it's actually just more comfortable to work with the straight leg and just work here in a really nice gentle forward fold. And maybe working with inhaling, straightening the spine, and then exhaling, seeing if you can come forward, up and over a little bit more, making sure you're really releasing the spine and the neck. Inhaling again, lifting up. Breathe in, feel there. Exhale, maybe lengthen over a little bit further. Do that 3 more times. Inhale. Exhale. Lengthen over. Inhale. Exhale. Lengthen up and over. Inhale. Lifting up, filling with air. And exhaling last time. Releasing up and over. And then from there, rolling gently back up in the spine. From here, I want you to gently roll over onto the front of your body. Okay. And we're just going to work through some cobra rolls. So this is a really nice one to add into any practice that's a little bit grounded. Where you want to use the ground to create some opening and some movement in the body. So you want your elbows tucked in, nice and tight by the sides of your bodies. Okay, by the sides of your body, not your bodies. Unless you're a mythical creature and you've got like 10 bods, in which case bodies is totally valid. And from here you're going to inhale, pushing away from the mat, and you're going to slowly start to lift. So your nose is going to lift first, then your chest, and then maybe the upper part of your belly, and then so that you're getting a nice bend in your lower back, and then you'll ripple back down so that your ribs, and then your chest, and then your head comes back to the mat. And we're going to work through that just about 10 times through. So inhaling, lifting up, again, rolling up through the spine, and then exhaling, ribs, chest, head. Inhale, we lift head, chest, ribs, exhale, ribs, chest, head. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. 5 more. Inhale, exhale, really creating a nice movement in the spine. Exhale, 3 more. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Last time. Inhale, exhale, and then release your fingertips out either side of you so you're coming into the T, and just rest your right or left ear down on the ground for a moment. From here, you're going to start to bend the left knee, and then starting to roll onto the right hip, but not entirely, just enough so you can lift the left leg off the floor and start to think about kicking it back and over towards the right. Foot still hovering off the ground, and you're just going to squeeze it there and then release it down. And then we're going to do the same with the right leg. So bending it in, starting to roll over onto the left shoulder, the left hip, so we can lift it up. Think about kicking it over towards the left, and then bring it back and release it. We'll do that a few more times on each side. So inhale, left leg bends, starting to roll over towards the right. We lift up, we squeeze the glute, start to feel a stretch in the back, and then we release it down. Inhale, right leg, Start to shift, roll over onto the left hip and the left shoulder. Reach that foot up and over to the other side, squeeze the glute, and then release. We'll go once more on each side. Left knee bends, shifting over onto the right hip, putting weight into the right shoulder, lifting the left leg up, maybe feeling some nice cracks in the lower back. And then exhale, release it down. Inhale, bend the right leg, lift it up, squeeze it over, and then exhale, lower it back down. This time, same thing again, we'll inhale, bend the left knee, bend the left leg, start to roll onto the side, and this time we'll kick that left leg all the way over so that we can plant the sole of the left foot on the ground. And maybe you need to adjust in your body so that you can get the right arm nice and flat on the ground. And just work. So it might be that you're on your tiptoes here. So just your tiptoe is able to reach the ground. Maybe you're able to plant the sole of the foot. And the further away and towards the top of the mat you bring it, the deeper the stretch is going to be in your back. So if you just want to place it here, that's fine, a little bit closer to your leg. If you want to walk it a little bit further away, you're going to deepen the stretch in your back. Okay. And just holding it here for 3 breaths. Really breathing into the pose as much as possible. And also feeling a nice opening in the hip. So if you really straighten that leg, push down into the ground, sort of thrust your hips. At the same time, you also feel a nice opening in the hips and in the back body. Final breath. Exhale, rolling back gently to the center and releasing the leg. Inhale, other side. Exhale, start to kick and lift the right leg up and over. Placing either just the toes in contact, maybe shifting that left shoulder a little bit further. Reaching away, looking towards the right fingertips. And then maybe that foot comes into contact with the mat behind you, or with the ground behind you. Maybe you just stay here on your tippy toes and just finding a position with that foot where you can breathe into this pose but you're not creating any discomfort in the body, just creating a nice opening in the hip, in the back and the hip, but the main focus is on the shoulder and the back. Finding 2 more breaths here. Final breath, really breathe into the stretch. And then exhale, release it back. From here, hands will come either side of the rib cage. We're going to push back into child's pose and then swivel back round to come into our seated position. Grab a drink if you need to. From here, we're going to extend the left leg out and the palm, or the sole, I should say, not the palm, of the right foot is going to come into the side of the left thigh. Okay, so we're at this nice right angle. From here, we're going to move into another side body stretch. So that same idea as we had at the beginning, of really reaching up and over and stretching out the side body, and also using the core to make sure we're not falling but that we're lengthening, squeezing the core, opening the chest at the same time as lengthening up and over. So for this one, I want you to inhale, reach your right fingertips up, and then exhale, your hand's going to be on the outside of your left leg, and you can reach up and over and maybe bring the elbow down to the ground. Open up in the chest And take your gaze up towards your right elbow crease. And again, you want to make sure that your body's not splaying out like that, but that you're really bringing it all in so that you've got the integrity in your spine, okay? So your shoulders can go back and allow that chest opening, but you want to be engaging your core at the same time. Take 2 more breaths here. Expanding with the breath. Inhale. Exhale. Rolling all the way around. Our fingertips are going to come back to the mat, and then we're going to roll. So that left leg is now going to roll in, sweep back so that we can then untuck the right leg and roll all the way over into pigeon. And again, I want you to place the heel at whatever position is comfortable so that you can roll into pigeon with your hips squared. So you don't want to be like this, still sitting all your weight into your right leg, but instead you want to square the hips over so you're sitting right over and on top of the pose. And sitting in pigeon here for 5 breaths. And again, adjusting it so that leg is in a position that's comfortable. And you should feel the stretch in your right hip mainly. Expanding to even the lower right back, the thigh a little bit, but mainly in the right hip. And from here, you can come onto your forearms if that's available to you, just to increase the stretch a little bit, or maybe you work at just bending into the elbows, lowering your head down, and maybe you come all the way down, forehead to kiss the mat, and you rest here in pigeon. Wherever you are, take 3 more breaths here. Allow the inhale to fill your body with air, and the exhale to create more length and deepening into the stretch a little bit. Inhale. Exhale, deepen. Last inhale. Exhale, deepen. From here, slowly lifting yourself back up, rolling onto the right thigh, coming back into that position we were just in for our side stretch, and then lifting the right leg so that the foot is up on top of the left thigh. Okay, and this is a half lotus stretch, and this might be enough for you. So what you're doing is you're pushing your left foot into your thigh so that this knee can come as close to the ground as possible. Hopefully this is creating a really nice stretch in your knee. Okay, and this might be an intense enough stretch for you today, in which case you can just place your fingers somewhere comfortably. Maybe it's comfortable to lean forward a little bit or rest here. Maybe you want to come back into that side stretch, or if you want a slightly deeper stretch in this knee area, and you're going to slowly start to walk the hands back, okay, until you start to feel more of a stretch in the thigh and then leading up to the knee area. Don't push it. You should know with this pose when it feels like too much, so really take it slowly. And maybe coming onto the elbows behind you and just relaxing here into this stretch for a moment. Deep inhale, really pushing that knee towards the ground as much as possible, opening as well in the hip, creating an incredible opportunity for your knee and all the ligaments and tendons in your knee to strengthen and to move in a way that naturally we don't move our knee past the joint in this way, which means that when we start to do stuff that does move our knee this way, which sometimes happens, we won't be as susceptible to injury because we'll be in the practice of stretching our knee a little bit beyond the normal ways we do anyway. So it means we're just creating more mobility and preventing injury. Take one more deep inhale here, and then slowly lift yourself back up if you need to. And then we're going to place this foot over the left leg. And from here, either your right elbow is going to hook onto your right knee, and your left fingertips will come behind, coming into another side body twist. Or alternatively, your right arms will reach up towards the sky and then come over in front of the right knee, and you'll use this as well as your core to move you into the twist. So again, you don't want just the arm to be doing all the work. You really want to use your core muscles and your torso. Think about really squeezing it round, whoo, in a good way, towards the left arm. One more deep inhale and exhale, release. We're going to switch it up. So right leg comes out, left foot comes in. Okay, breathing in, reaching up with the left arm, and then side body stretch, this time coming over to the right side, maybe lowering the right elbow down to the ground, and then thinking about opening the chest, stretching up and over, maybe taking the gaze to the left inner elbow crease. And really allowing each breath to move you as if the breath, this internal breeze, was also happening outside of you. And we can make this movement as subtle as we want, and maybe we barely move at all. Maybe the gaze is down at the right arm. Really think about opening up the chest at the same time as reaching up and over. One more deep breath here, and then exhale. Starting to shift around again. Okay. Rolling the right leg in and then sweeping it back, adjusting this heel as we need to, and then coming into our pigeon pose on the other side. Okay. And then finding again a position that's comfortable, making sure we're not leaning over into our left hip, but that we roll into a position where our left thigh should be in contact with the mat or the ground, and so that our hips are squared, nice and square. Just taking 5 breaths here again. And maybe coming onto the forearms if that's comfortable. Maybe all the way to the forehead if that's in your practice. 3 more breaths here. Final breath. And then lifting back up, rolling now onto that left hip, coming back into that position we were in our side body stretch. And this time, grabbing hold of the left foot and placing it on top of the right thigh. And thinking about really pushing and working that left knee down to the ground. Okay, as we we press the foot into the thigh to help us lower that knee, so we're coming into our half lotus pose. And then from here we can find any position that feels comfortable. If this feels like a deep enough stretch, and if you're not used to bending your knee in this way, a little bit past the joint, this will probably be a deep enough stretch as it is. And maybe if you do want to deepen it, you just slowly walk your hands back. As you do that, really thinking about pushing this knee down, opening up in that hip, using the foot to push down into the thigh, and just opening up this whole area and creating this new strength and awareness and mobility in the left knee. And maybe coming down gently to rest on your elbows. And again, really thinking about, even though this may feel a little uncomfortable, it may feel really good, but thinking about how much good this is doing for the parts of your body that don't always move in this way. 2 more breaths here. And on our final breath, slowly coming back up, using our fingertips to lift us back up, and then moving the left leg over the right, planting the sole of the foot on the ground next to the outside of the right leg, and then again hooking the elbow to the knee and reaching behind us, coming into a twist. Or if you want to challenge yourself a little bit more, lifting up with the left arm, bringing it to the inside of the left leg, pushing that arm into the leg a little bit, but also really using the strength of the torso to bring you into that twist. Gaze out behind you, making sure you're not slackening that leg, but the leg is also pushing into your arm into leg a little bit, and then torso is guiding your body round into the twist. Take one more deep inhale, exhale, slowly release. Bring that leg back over, bring the right one in, and coming into butterfly pose. So from here, again, I want you to work within your own comfort zones. So we're going to move forward, okay, into a butterfly pose. And I want you to make sure that your hips are at a distance that is comfortable. If they're too far away, you won't feel the stretch at all. But I want you to just be conscious of making adjustments as you move into it, so that you're able to move in a way and hold in a posture that is supportive. Okay? So from here, we're going to breathe in. You're going to take hold of your ankles gently. Think about really lengthening up and sitting tall up through the spine. And as you exhale, you're going to keep your gaze out in front and just slowly start to think about moving up and over. Okay? And you don't want to use your hands to really pull yourself, but you want to think about, again, always using your core to move you before you then maybe ask your grip to help move you a little bit more. And maybe your elbows come out in front of the legs, or maybe if it's more comfortable, they come in and press down into the thighs and you come over this way. But really making sure you keep the gaze out in front, pushing down into your thighs if you're in this variation, so that you can really create a nice opening in the hips. And maybe this is it for you today. And you don't want to lean much further forward, and that's great, and that's totally fine. on a little click. So breathing in and then exhaling, moving over into our butterfly pose. Maybe you're in this variation holding the feet, if that also feels more comfortable. Maybe you want to hold the feet and work up and over this way. And eventually we'll create enough space in our hips that we might be able to get the head all the way to the toes. And that's just me showing you that anything is possible. My hips are so tight. Well, I mean, now they're incredibly loose, but they were always the tightest part of my body. And in a butterfly pose, I used to literally be like this. Hey kids. My knees felt like people would be like this, and they'd push them up and they used to spring back up. So it's really normal in this position to not have that much opening. And even just by sitting in this position for 5 or 10 minutes every day, or any of these hip opening positions, our knees just with gravity start to naturally, not even with gravity, but just with the weight of our body, they just start to create this opening in the hips, and it's so subtle, and that's often the beauty of it. And keep breathing here in your pose. Sorry, I do like to sometimes go off on one and chat a little. We'll take one more deep inhale and exhale here all together. And on your next inhale, releasing, rising up, and then just moving your feet back into a comfortable seated pose. And just to finish, I just want you to take some really gentle head rolls. So allowing your right ear to come down towards your right shoulder, and then rolling your head all the way forward, over to the left, ear to shoulder, and then gently forward. And we often forget about our neck as well. So just really enjoy some nice, slow, mindful neck rolls here. And hopefully your entire body will feel a little more strong and flexible and open and mobile. But you should also feel really cool. Like you don't even need to shower. Nice and calm. Nice and grounded. Nice and aware of your body, your mind, and yourself. And then bringing the hair back to center and taking one final inhale all together. Bringing the hands to the heart and exhaling, bowing the head to the fingertips. Namaste. Thank you for practicing with me, my loves. Take care, and I'll see you all soon.